put a woman in charge. Put a woman in charge. Put the women in charge. Put the women in charge. Put a woman in charge. Put a woman in charge. Put the women in charge. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We're gonna feel the magic when the girls take over. It's gonna be fantastic.
We need more women in charge.
Put the women in charge.
Put a woman in charge.
Put a woman in charge.
Put the women in
Put
charge.
the women in charge.
Time to put a woman in
Put
charge.
a woman in charge.
Put the women in charge.
Okay. Oh, that was good timing. Okay. So let's see. Do we have at the moment, how many people do we have? We have 34 participants and we don't have, do we, Rosamund, can you check quorum to see if we have quorum yet? We won't, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Okay, wait a minute. Well, we don't have much to vote on. That'll be later in the evening, so hopefully we'll have some, okay, so do we have quorum?
I'm checking. Hold on a second.
Alexa just came in and she's a new member. And Andrea St. Julian is a new member also. So we have 2 new members on right now. They can't vote, but they can definitely talk and they count. Quorum. So where's Alexa? Where's Alexa?
Let's see. We have 156 members and we have, let me see how many can vote or are not guests.
Well, quorum is just
Yeah,
members. Just members.
Yeah, just members.
Yeah.
Because members are still coming in, Susan, I won't have that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, oh, John says we have quorum. Okay. So right now, since we have quorum and we have posted in the chat, the Google document for the agenda. If everyone wants to take a look at it, please. It's the first one. It's the first link. You just for those of you who have 2 screens, it's really easy to take it and post and copy it and then put it into the browser window of your other screen. It's amazing. I learned how to do this. Oh, you're sharing it. Okay, John's sharing it too. Okay. All right, Sam. Okay. All right. So do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
Thank you, Elise. Elise, do I hear a second?
I second.
Is that Jen?
Yep.
Hi, Jen. Hi. Okay, it's a seconded. Okay. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
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 Oh, let me, are there any nays? Let's just put it that way. Are there any nays? Okay, agenda's approved. Okay. So I want to introduce to everyone your officers that are on board here that'll be addressing you and talking to you. I'm Susan Pinato, for those of you who are new. I'm the club president, current club president, and our VP external is Ramo Saeed, and I don't see Ramo, but we have our internal is Dr. Rebecca Fielding Miller, and she is accompanied by Esther.
Oh, the baby.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey,
Esther.
Esther, look at that baby eating.
Hello.
And then our club secretary is Kathy Hyatt.
Hi.
Kathy, can we highlight Kathy there? Kathy. Let's see if I can spotlight you. I'm
Hey,
gonna spotlight
Esther.
you. Hi. Okay. Whoops. What happened to Kathy? Esther took over.
That's good.
Okay. There we go. And then our treasurer, Rosamond, who is right here, and I am going to spotlight Rosamond. Why does not work? There she is. There's Rosamond. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
And Rosamond is actually our most important officer.
She always says that.
But she is.
Sure.
I swear she is. There's just absolutely no. It's just hands down. We're at the moment. I'm going to remove the spotlights. John, can you do that for me right now so I can look at the screen and make sure that I know that Doug Case is here. I'd like to recognize. I don't think are there any visiting electeds here? Unmute yourself and let us know. Jose, actual electeds who are serving in office at this very moment. I don't see anyone. Okay, so those, I'd like to recognize Doug Case.
I'll call you back in just a second, okay?
Oh, okay, so you'll be back in a minute? Okay.
No, I'm fine. I've just, somebody called me, just as you called on me, so I'm going to call them back in a second.
Okay.
As you know, the President Pro Tem was up for election this year, and she won with over almost 2/3 of the vote against an unknown opponent. And so,
Doug,
yes.
excuse me. You said, why don't you tell us, some people may be new to politics, and when you say President Pro Tem, they may not quite understand who you're talking about.
Okay, thank you. My name is Doug Case, and I am the Political Affairs Director for Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins, who is the leader of the California Senate. And as I was mentioning, she just got reelected by a 2-to-1 margin over a Republican who nobody really knows who she is. And so most of her time was really spent in helping to elect Democrats in other races, particularly in the state Senate. And as a result, we were able to successfully elect the 2 additional Democrats to the state Senate. So we now have a total of 31 Democrats, which is a record. There hasn't been that many Democrats in the state Senate since 1883. That would be a good trivia question for Kate Bishop's trivia. And we picked up 2 seats in Orange County. One of them was Josh Newman, who was recalled because of the gas tax that Carl DeMaio arranged that. And so it was a vindication for him to be reelected or elected once again. And also David Min took a seat that was previously held by a Republican in Orange County. And so we're looking forward to the next session, which begins in December, and look forward to coming back on a regular basis and giving you reports. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Are there any other electeds or representatives of electeds?
Actually, I have a question for Doug.
Okay. Hi, Mary.
Doug, you still there?
Doug, yes. Mary,
Hi, Doug. I was just wondering, was one of the races we picked up Christy, I want to say Christy Hill in Orange County?
That wasn't a state Senate race.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was congressional. Yep, you're right. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. I was playing around and I really shouldn't be. And I ended up spotlighting Barbara when I meant to not. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Barbara. Ruth? Unmute yourself and ask the question.
What?
You have your hand raised?
Oh, yes, I wanted to ask Doug a question.
Okay, Doug. You're on again.
Doug, what is your prediction as whether or not Tony would go to the U.S. Senate?
Doug? He's on his phone call. Okay, we'll ask him later when he comes back, Ruth. Remember
He
that,
must
okay?
have taken that phone call. Yeah.
Yeah, he took the phone call. Okay, so are there any other candidates who are successful? I'll give you just a chance to recognize yourself and to tell us. I see Tiffany. So Tiffany won her race. So Tiffany, tell us what race you won.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I won my race, and in no small part thanks to the efforts of the Democratic Women's Club. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to Susan Pinedo for all of your help and your support with the ethics complaints that we filed. I won my race, and I won it in a landslide. We did something remarkable. We beat someone who has been in San Marcos politics since the mid-1990s. So there was that. And then there was also running against someone who's been censured by the Democratic Party. And several of you, if you've attended one of these meetings, you know who I'm talking about, and you know the challenges therein. So I am so grateful for all of your help. I'm grateful for your support, and I'm ready to get to work. Thank you. Thank you again.
Go Tiffany, go Tiffany. Jose, I see you. You won. Didn't you win your race? So one of the two positions?
Yes. Hey, everybody. Jose Rodriguez here, National City Council member elect. And my oldest daughter is here, Areli.
Hi.
But just wanted to swing by and say thank you. Thank you all so much for the support that you provided in our race. We were successful in unseating 2 incumbents in National City. The other winner was Marcus Bush. But I'm really proud of the effort that we put forth this election cycle. I believe that we became victorious because we created a very wide coalition of folks that were very supportive of our campaign. And I harped on the same economic issues that we strongly believe in. We want to make sure to fight for working families during this time where a lot of families are struggling to get by. And so that is what we kept saying over and over and over again. And it really resonated with a lot of National City residents. I am, though, looking forward to your support. Just really quickly, we have a very big decision to make in our port in National City. And next month, we're going to decide who our next port commissioner is. I really am pushing for a woman to be selected. It would only be the second woman serving in our port district. And so I believe we really need women's representation at our port. So I will definitely
keep us apprised of that. Keep us apprised of that, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I can see why you want women. You got 2 strong ones right there.
4 daughters, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, Jose. Thank you. I'm going to skip along. To Rob Howard. Rob did not win, but Rob, we want to thank Rob for being a candidate. Rob, you want to poke your head out just for a minute? Just say hi.
Hey, everybody. Again, I want to also thank those of you who I got a chance to work with. Yeah, and just say that we're not done. A lot of the candidates in Oceanside talked about changes we need to make, and I challenge every candidate, stay engaged, stay in the fight. We have a lot of work to do. We're back to what looks to be a 4-1 Republican majority in Oceanside. So we're going to have to press really hard and get our candidates out for 2022. We have 2 majority minority districts that are up. So we're ready. So thank you, everybody. And
thank you.
Have a great time.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, are there any other, Liz. Okay, thank you. Liz Labertu. Liz, are you?
Hey. Yeah.
Can we spotlight Liz?
Yeah. Hey, how are you guys? Sorry, we're watching the football game right now too while listening to the meeting, but I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Thank you everyone for your support. It meant so much to me to have the Women's Club support, and we're not done in East County. We're still working. So if you live in the East County area, please help us and join us. We're planning on building our Democratic base over the next 2 years and getting a lot more volunteers so that we can get more Democrats elected up and down the ballot. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, so is there anyone else? Before I go into the people, we do have
Luana is on.
Luana. Where's Luana? I'm so sorry, Luana. Where are you? Can we highlight Luana?
No hair, no makeup.
Where's
I'm around
Luana?
here somewhere.
Luana, where are you? Luana, if you're not ready, we'll give you a second. We'll go to.
No, I'm ready. I'm right here.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey, girl. I really want to say I appreciate all the support. As you guys know, I didn't win, but I got closer than anybody has under these circumstances, and I learned a lot. And I really appreciate all the great people I got to know. And I'll continue to champion the issues that matter to me.
Well, we are. It was a delight to get to know you. We're proud. We're proud of you, Luana. So.
And Sam is here, and Sam is here too.
Okay, Sam, do you wanna give us an update on your nail biter race?
Yes, I would. But first, I want to say how grateful I am to all of the members, particularly to Yvonne and Rosamond and Susan, who have been almost texting daily or commenting with me daily. I'm hanging on. I'm 5 behind. We have some 800 votes to still count. I'm determined to win, but I'm very grateful to be 5 points behind in a race where I was expected to have been blown out of the water. But I cannot begin to tell you how much this club is like the North Star to me and the touchstone that I rely on. Because when I start to feel a little down or a little nervous or a little worried, I think about all the great women that are part of this club, and it inspires me daily. So thank you, everyone.
Sam was actually one of our first members, and she was on our first endorsement committee way back when. That's right. Okay, anybody next? Is there anyone else? Okay, we have some people that want to address us right now. We're going to give you a few minutes that are running for inter-party positions. I know that Evelyn is one. Evelyn, do you want to speak to us?
Yes.
Try to keep it really short.
Okay, I'll be really quick.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Evelyn Andrade. I just wanted to announce my candidacy for the East Area Vice Chair of the Democratic Party. I'm hoping to get the support of this club. I've been a member for the last 2 years and have been active with the party since moving to San Diego in 2018. Some of my goals include making our area more diverse and inclusive and recruiting more candidates, especially women and women of color, but also ensuring that we grow our volunteer base and grow our fundraising efforts to make sure that not only do we recruit them, but we have the support that is needed to help get them elected. So I hope I have your support. Thank you so much.
When is your race?
In January. So the election will be January 12th.
Okay.
Did you repeat the office?
Yes, I am running for the East Area Vice Chair of the San Diego Democratic Party. And so those that are on the Central Committee, specifically the East Area Caucus, will be able to vote in my race. Thank you all.
Thank you, Evelyn. All right, is there anyone else who might be running for any other offices? Now or forever hold your peace. Because I'm going to go.
ADEMS also?
I'm sorry?
Are you talking about ADEMS also?
We're well, if you could have a minute, but we're going to go into ADEMS. You know, it was the whole process was totally upended.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to be, our meeting's going to be about.
I just didn't know if I'm running for ADEMS. Okay, that's it. That was it.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we are going to go right into the ADEM race. For some of you that are new, you may not know what we're talking about, but every January, there's a race called the Assembly District. Assembly District.
Assembly.
What is Assembly District election? And what it is, you elect 7 men and 7 women. to represent you with the state at the state party level. They go to the convention and they represent your issues, and you elect them. The Democratic body from that assembly district has the opportunity to vote in this election. And in the past, some people ran for what's called the executive board of the party, and I am the executive board member in the 78th Assembly District. And the executive board is what makes decisions and then presents them to the body at the convention. And this past weekend was an executive board meeting of the state party, and we considered how to run a caucus meeting in a pandemic. And as everyone knows, it's predicted that the pandemic is going to be a lot worse in January. The staff had recommended that the state party staff had recommended that we have drop-off points and mail-in ballots, but people would also be able to drop off ballots in person in a parking lot on the days of that were designated for the caucus event. The problem with that is that it rains in January, it's cold in January, and in the northern parts of the district of the state, it snows. So that, and we couldn't figure out that anyway, at least the executive board members and many of them, and many of the regional directors could not figure out a way to have such a meeting, such a vote without having contact. And Michelle Krug, who's up next, argued very reasonably that does disenfranchise some people who do not have computers, are people who do not have sight, or that have certain disabilities. So Michelle, I'm gonna introduce Michelle Krug, and she is our Regional 20 District Director. So Michelle, it's all yours. You're mute. You're mute. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Am I unmuted now?
Now you're unmuted, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. And I'm also a longtime member of the club.
Yes, you are.
So with the ADEM elections, as Susan said, many of the other regional directors didn't want to have an in-person thing. I feel strongly that it's important that we have options, especially for homeless people, etc. 2 years ago, I went to the Voices of the City specifically to get them engaged, and there was like 5 or 6 of them that were very interested and did participate. But anyway, the bottom line is Susan asked me to give a status report of where we're going to be at with the Assembly District elections. They were originally scheduled for January 9th and 10th or January 23rd and 24th. They sandwiched the Martin Luther King birthday weekend, and it's every other year. So it's every 2 years in the odd years, right after the presidential election. So as of today and as of yesterday's vote, they are going to be virtual. There will be some additions, and I'm really looking for some brilliant ideas from anywhere of how we can expand the ability, staying virtual, of people to be able to participate. So one of the things they are going to do is there will be a call-in number, and people can register for their ballot by phone by calling the California Democratic Party. The website went live. and it is ADEM, ADEM dot CADEM, CADEM, if someone wants to put this in the chat, .org. That is the website if you are interested in being a candidate. And it is also the same website that you are going to be sending people to ask them to request a mail-in ballot. Both of those links are live. To run for ADEM, you know, as Susan said, you just have to be a Democrat registered in that district. Normally, we would actually be able to register people as Democrats if they're NPPs, you know, at the site, but I don't know how they're going to take care of that. As of, again, today, January 11th is the very last day that you can request a mail-in ballot. All of the ballots will need to be received by January 27th to be counted. And if you're interested in running, and again, it's 7 women, but the other verbiage is 7 identified non-females. So that would include men or trans fluid or whatever other verbiage. But there's 7 women that are elected and then 7 non-identified female or not identified female from each assembly district. This year, one of the changes is going to be that, as Susan mentioned, she ran for executive board. In the past, we've had 2 separate elections for those of you who have participated in the past, which was cumbersome and complicated for people to understand that they needed 2 separate ballots put in 2 separate ballot boxes. This time, you mark the box. If you are running for assembly district delegate, there's a box that says, are you also interested in running for executive board? So of those people that actually win the assembly district election and have marked the box that they wish to be considered for executive board, the highest vote getter will be designated as the executive board member for that assembly district. There is the possibility of a waiver or the opportunity to request a waiver. Oh, I guess I should have said there's a $30 candidate charge. There's no charge for running, for getting your mail-in ballot. And in fact, the postage will be paid. But if you are running as a candidate, they'll ask you to go on to a second site, and that's a payment site of $30. But I did check today. A couple of those directions are being updated. They're not updated yet. And that's one of them. So there is the opportunity to run and ask for a waiver. And all you need to do is to email the party at adem@cadem.org and request a waiver. That's essentially what's going to happen, is that they are going, all of these mail-in ballots are going to be counted with a third-party vendor. It's a Scantron. And it's up to you as a candidate to do your due diligence, to get your friends and neighbors who are registered as Democrats, or you need to make sure they get registered as Democrats before they send in that ballot. Yeah, so maybe I'll just go with questions, or maybe get a sense from the room of how many people have actually participated in the ADEM election process, either as a candidate or as a voter. Maybe they can do the yes button, and John, you can just give me an idea if we have a room that's pretty experienced or if they're all brand new.
Yep, I can help with that, Michelle. Yeah, so if people want to go ahead and in the participants tab, click the green button if you've ever taken part in the ADEM elections before, voting or as a candidate. So yeah, Michelle, there's probably about 15
May I say something?
or so people out of 50. What? Just 1 second. Number of people have their hands raised. So
Okay.
if you want to say something or ask Michelle a question, if you can raise your hand in the participants tab, and then we can ask people in order. So yeah, first up then we got Sam. You had your hand raised.
Yes. Am I saying in what manner I have participated?
No, oh, okay. That was just, yeah, you don't have a question for Michelle.
Yeah, it was just a general.
Yeah, it was just a sense of the room. So it's about a third of the room, Michelle. But then Mary had a question. If you want to go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, you know, I've actually run a couple times and was horribly discouraged the last time because everybody's a slate. And so if we're not part of a slate, where do we fit?
So I would suggest you create a slate. I mean, you know, if you've got to, it's like any campaign, Mary. You've got to figure out what's going to get the word out to the most amount of voters. So if you have a big enough family, you know, in town, then that works. But otherwise, it's there. That isn't really something I can answer. But just like any campaign, that's going to be up to the candidate to, you know, do. You know, there's always the possibility. There's a few people, not very many, that actually buy a database. You can buy a database from the Register of Voters. You can ask to purchase that if you're good with data, or you can actually get an account with PDI or Vote Builder. But otherwise, it's going to be up to you. And it's harder in the pandemic because we're not out, you know, letting people know. But maybe the people in the room have other suggestions. But I just, you know, to me, it's get some friends of yours and run as a team so that you can, you know, contact your own people.
I appreciate that,
So-
Michelle, but yeah, but
Yeah, Mary. Sorry, yeah. If we go on to Elise, you have your hand raised.
Hey, Elise.
Elise, you're muted.
Going back to Elise and see who's next.
Yes, Elise is just trying to unmute. I'll ask you to unmute.
Yeah, but I do want to also make a comment that if you're going to run for ADEM, you have to be a registered Democrat by November the 3rd. And Michelle, while we're waiting for Elise.
Oh, I'm through. I'm good.
Okay.
But I've run for the ADEMs twice. I won both times, and last time I won, and I was also an e-board member. I was always on a slate, so I want to know, Michelle, how is that going to work if you're running on a slate and everybody has a separate ballot? I'm not really clear on how the slates are going to be counted.
So the slates aren't counted ever, even in the real elections. They were never counted. It was up to the group of people to pass that out at church, pass it out to them, and then people had the ability to come walk in with a slate, just like people have the ability to walk in with their sample ballot when they come, you know, to vote. So if I were running, you know, with a slate, I would be expecting my friends, the other people on my slate, to be passing that out either by making phone calls or, you know, doing on social media. Obviously, social media, you know, pictures of all the people that you want to do it. But the advantage of a slate is obviously that each of you has a different group of people that you can do outreach for. So there's not.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay,
I'm just
next.
wondering. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think, Brandon, whoever has a hand raised.
Thank you. And thank you, Michelle, for presenting this information to us. I was hoping to verify something with you. I just wanted to ask because I believe I remember hearing that if somebody tries to register for a ballot, an ADEM ballot, or register as a ADEM candidate, and they're either not currently registered as a Democrat or not registered to vote at all, that they receive a prompt or a notification letting them know, as well as a link being provided to them to register to vote as a Democrat. Is that correct?
So I believe that's true for people who wish to vote. You know, your friends and neighbors that you're getting to vote for you. But you had to run as a candidate, you had to have already been registered as a Democrat by November 3rd, as Susan said. So if you were not registered, it's too late for running as a candidate.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. And that's always been the rule, that you had to have already been a registered Democrat. Who's next, John?
Okay, there are no other hands raised.
Well, I would like for you, Michelle, to go into to how to actually apply, to remind people not to do it in the
Oh,
app.
yeah. Yes. Excellent point. So something that obviously Susan and I have had experience with is when you are doing the actual application at adem.cudem.org, the first thing you're going to do is just fill out your general information, your name, where you're registered to vote, your mailing address, phone number, email. And then you're prompted about the money. And then you get a confirmation. The confirmation email will then give you a link, and the link will actually allow you to write a 2,400 character, which includes spaces, 2,400 characters, which I understand is roughly 416 words. But you're gonna have to do it like on Microsoft Word and actually do a word count or a character count, and include that. You can also use a link. You can include a link. I did check this today with CDP. You'll be able to do 2,400 character statement, as well as a link to a video on your own platform, meaning Facebook or YouTube, that you create your own platform. You're allowed to include the link for that as well on the application. Now, what Susan is alluding to is the final link where you're writing your statement is very unforgiving. So you cannot make a mistake. That's not where you want to do your editing. You want to do your editing on a Microsoft Word doc or some other Google Doc, and then basically copy it and paste it into the actual link that says this is your 2,400 characters, because any mistake you make on that, like if you only get through the first sentence and hit submit by accident, they will not make any changes. So that's why we're saying that it's very unforgiving. So just make sure that you have it perfectly the way you want it to be, with the proper grammar that you want to use, and that you want to read it and reread it and make sure that it flows well, and then copy it and paste it once you know that you're under that 2,400 characters, because again, they will cut it off at that level, at the 2,400. And then you want to paste that into the actual document and include a link, if you wish to, for a video. That's pretty much it. And they will send you a confirmation. The dates are from yesterday, November 15th through December 15th. It's exactly those dates that you are able to actually apply to run. If you haven't applied by December 15th, again, it'll be too late, even though the election itself is not until January. But November 15th through December 15th is the date to get your applications in. From what I understand, the placement on the ballot is actually going to be determined by when you fill out that first part of the application. So the sooner you do that, you'll have a better placement on the ballot. Yeah. Anything else, Susan, that?
Yeah, I think it's imperative that you have to get your voters to register, and they have to be registered by what date? Was there a specific day? They cannot vote for you unless they're registered to vote for you, because their registration as Democrats is checked.
Yes, so they're right. So January 11th is the last day you can request that ballot. And I have not heard that they have to be registered. They have to be registered when the party checks it. So, and I'll double check if there's an actual date that they actually have to be registered as a Democrat in order to just vote.
No, just the time they vote, I think, is what I understood from yesterday.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. So
Yeah.
January 7th is the date that everything is due into the California Democratic Party. And on that date is when they plan to forward it to the counting house.
Would you repeat that date again, please?
January 11th is the date that they said is the last day you can request a ballot be mailed to home or to wherever your address. January 11th.
But the last day to be received is when?
January 27th.
This is complicated, and any of us, I'm available if anybody needs help with anything. And somebody made a comment about slates, and it seems to be a shame. You have to get a certain number of people out to vote for you, and it's easier to do with a slate. If you're a real go-getter, it's possible to win if you are not on a slate, but it's a lot more work. Any other questions? Anybody have questions? Is there anything else? Is this clear as mud to everybody?
No, thank you, Susan. Belatedly, thank you.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to be harsh about people trying to do it on their own. And obviously that sounds like the most democratic, way of doing it. But it's kind of like if you're a candidate for school board or water board or whatever, or, city council, you're not going to be able to win doing it on your own. It's just too much voter contact required.
It's all teamwork anyway. Politics is teamwork, essentially.
Yeah, Rose, did you have a question?
I do. Well, I just have a comment. My involvement was just voting for Doreen when she ran, and I had never heard of it. And when I went up there, I mean, there were no signs or anything. There was no publicity whatsoever for this election. Going there, people had put little pop-up canopies and were serving food. And then when we went inside, there was nowhere to really mark the ballot. So we were all leaning against the wall with our ballots, looking for pencils. It was kind of disorganized. But they had the Musicians Hall on Marina Boulevard, and they carried on, and that's how it was done.
I think it's gotten a little bit more organized with clipboards and tables and things now.
Okay, great.
Well, now it's virtual anyway.
That was the first year there was an outstanding number of people that showed up to vote. It's not usually that much. And then the year after was even more next time.
Okay, and then Alina has her hand raised.
Hi, Alina.
Hey, Michelle, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little late. I had to attend to my parents. Yeah, I do have a question about the current ADEM process. I know it's supposed to be counted in the Capitol instead of being counted in front of us, where we can actually see if the voters are actually, receive a certain amount of votes. So how does the transparency thing work if we don't have access to,
So Alina, you probably haven't heard yet, but as of this past weekend, the entire process is virtual. It's no longer going to be in a physical place. I argued against that. I feel it's really important that we have an option, but I did not win. So the bottom line is everything is going to be vote by mail. So everything is the same PO. So you're going to have to request a ballot and have everyone request a ballot. If you're going to be a candidate, you're going to go to adem.cadem.org and fill out the application. Candidates will automatically get a ballot, so you don't have to fill out a separate one for yourself as well. But everything is being done at the Capitol, and it's not going to be live streamed. That question was asked because they are going to, everything that's been mailed there by the 27th, January 27th, received by January 27th, will be sent to a counting house. And they say their expectation is that hopefully will be done by February 1st, but for sure the first week in February. That's how it's going to run this time.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Michelle. We really appreciate your time and your energy in explaining this to us. We're going to now move on.
Yeah, and
Susan, you muted.
feel free, John, if you want to put my phone number, the new iPhone number in the chat. I'm more than happy to talk to people offline with any other specific questions or problems once you get, to the site. They also said that there is now a link, a tab on the regular cadem.org website. I was going to ask you, John, to check it and make sure, but they said that there's a tab that says ADEMS, and you should be able to access the information from there as well.
Yeah, there is, Michelle, and we put that in the chat and we were sharing it earlier while you were talking. So yeah, that is all up on the KDAM website.
All right.
And I put Michelle's phone number in there and also realized when contact Michelle, it's easier to call her and talk to her than it is to send a text. Yeah.
Yeah, because my vision isn't great. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
All right. Again, just call me. Anything else?
All right.
Good luck to all candidates.
Okay. Can you hear me, John?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I want to move on to the next. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I'm available to help. John's available to help. We're all here and try to make it as because neither one of us are running. So make it as easy for you as we can, the transition. So now I think all of you remember that this club endorsed Proposition B, which passed. And we have a new, absolutely, one of our newest club members is Andrea St. Jillian. She's a lawyer. She's the immediate past president of the Earl B. Gillum Bar Association and co-chair of Standards for Justice. And this is going to be exciting. We passed it, And it establishes an independent commission to oversee the San Diego Police Department. So Ms. St. Julian is going to walk us through how implementation of this is going to work. Thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. So yes, as Susan said, Measure B created a Commission on Police Practices, a really robust commission. And it did that through an amendment to the San Diego City Charter. We won, and I have to say we won really big. We won with 75% of the vote. Nobody thought that that was possible. So we are really excited about it. So one of the reasons I'm here is, of course, to walk us through the steps of what's going to happen, but also to thank you. This was totally an all hands on deck, grassroots measure, right? We didn't have, money from across the state. No. It was everybody getting out there, grassroots, and everybody like you supporting us. So I'm going to do something also that I always regret afterwards, but there are just a few people here that I just want to say particularly a thank you to. Again, I want to thank the club itself. You supported us, you endorsed us, and you donated to us, and I'm eternally grateful to that. Genevieve, who's on here, was tremendous. Aramik, Kathy, you were great working with us. Elise, thank you so much for everything you did. And Michelle Krug, all that you did for us. And of course, Doug Case is on here, and Doug has been also a great support. So I just have to thank everybody because I'm so grateful. So, okay, enough of that. Let's go on to the election results and how that's going to play out. So once the election results are certified, state law requires that an amendment to a charter be chaptered before it goes into effect. And what chaptering essentially means is that it has to be officially published by the state. Right now, because of COVID-19, it's looking like it takes about 6 weeks or 2 months for something to be chaptered. So we're looking at the commission and Measure B becoming official sometime around the end of January, okay? So what's going to take place after that? A charter amendment is just essentially the bones of a commission, and that those bones need flesh. And to put the flesh on those bones, you need an ordinance. To get a full and complete ordinance is going to take quite some time. So my understanding is that in the interim, there's going to be an interim ordinance that's going to be passed that's going to just put a little more flesh on it for it to be able to function at this point. The current CRB has asked me to join them in having a forum on November 30th between 4 and 6 p.m. to ask the community what do they want to see in the new commission and what they would like that new ordinance to look like. So if that is something of interest to you, please join the forum on November 30th between 4 and 6. I wish I had more information for you as to the Zoom location and all of that. I don't quite have that information because we just picked the date today. But I can provide that information to Susan when we get it, and she can pass it along if you'd like. So what is the big, huge, immediate issue right now today with the commission? At the time that Women Occupy and the other organizations presented the charter amendment to the San Diego City Council, we had a provision in there that the new commission would, the budget would include the money from the old CRB, and it would just automatically transfer over. For some reason, the city decided to take that provision out, which means we have no funding for the new commission yet. So what has to happen, don't ask me why they took that out. I don't know. It never explained to me. But what we need right now is in that interim ordinance to get the commission up and running, we need to make sure that it has some immediate funding, right? Now, my understanding is that our new mayor, Todd Gloria, has asked each of the city council members to let him know what their top priorities are for the coming year. I would ask each of you to contact your city council member and let them know that when they talk to Todd, that they need to tell him that funding the new commission and giving it some funding immediately is one of the top priorities on their list, okay? That is hugely important, hugely important. So once again, please call your council member, tell that council member to place on their list of top priorities when they talk to Todd, the immediate funding of the new commission. So that is really kind of a general outline of what the next steps are. And I didn't want to talk too long, but I am happy to answer any questions that you have. So I just kind of like to open it up for questions. Oh, Susan asked, what is a CRB? Okay, CRB is the predecessor to the current commission. CRB is the Community Review Board. And Doug Case is the immediate past president of the Community Review Board. And that was the board that reviewed police misconduct. And it had and continues to have a lot of very dedicated members. Unfortunately, the structure that they worked in was very limited. And so this new commission, what Measure B did was it abolished the current CRB, and it replaced it with a new robust commission. So what other questions do we have?
Yeah, in the hands that are raised,
Okay.
Dr. Luana Richmond.
So, hi, I have two questions.
Okay.
One is my understanding is that this new commission will be doing more than the CRB.
Mm-hmm.
And so how much more budget will it need than what the CRB currently has?
Sure. It's really funny. I was talking to somebody today, and you know, when I we first were looking at the amendment, we kept asking the city, how much is the current budget of the CRB? How much is it? And we kept getting a figure like of $700,000, you know, which wasn't accurate, but no matter what we did, that's what we kept getting. Since it looked like Measure B was going to pass, all of a sudden the city was saying that the actual budget was $247,000. So it's like, oh, okay. But along the process, the city council asked Andrea Tevlin to price out what the new commission was going to cost. And she said that the most likely cost is going to be $1.1 million. Now, there are a couple of places to get that money from, at least some of that money. One of them is from, obviously, the current CRB. So because the current CRB is abolished, so certainly that money should immediately go over. Also, you know, we have CAB, and I can't remember what CAB stands for. Doug, can you chime in and tell me what CAB stands for?
Citizens Advisory Board.
Thank you. The
Citizens Advisory Board on Police Community Relations.
Yes. I have talked to many people, and because the new commission has such robust powers, a lot of people are telling me that they really don't see any reason for CAB to continue. It is an advisory board. I won't go into all the things, but most of you also know, you know, a lot of people don't feel there's any reason for CAB, and it was just, it's only a couple years old, so a few years old. So by closing out CAB, those funds can also come over to the new commission. And I'm sure there are other similar places where that money can come from. I'm extremely well aware of the difficulties San Diego's having financially right now. But we need some funding immediately for the new commission because without it, it simply can't function at all.
So Rose,
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for coming to us tonight and telling us about this fabulous news. Can you tell us a little bit about this robust structure that it has?
Oh, sure. So the first thing it is completely independent from the city, which the former CRB was not. The CRB was an advisory board to the mayor. This is an independent commission that does not report to the mayor. The current CRB is limited to merely reviewing the findings and investigation of the police department itself. The new commission will have the power and in many cases, or in some cases, the duty to do an independent investigation conducted by independent investigators that work for the commission itself. The new commission also has the ability to investigate other complaints, as well as the duty to review all complaints. Additionally, one thing that oftentimes people had difficulty with was, there are new reporting requirements for the police department, and many people felt that the police department was not really appropriately reporting those figures, facts and figures that they were supposed to be. This new commission has the, not just the power, but the authority. It is required to oversee that reporting process so that we know that those figures are being reported appropriately. Also, the new commission has the power to review and make recommendations on the policies, practices, and procedures of the police department. It has one thing that really undergirds and supports this new commission is it has the ability and actually the duty with respect to investigators to have its own investigators, and also it has the ability to hire its own policy analysts. So it has that professional expertise that will help the commissioners make decisions on best practices for the police department. And it will have that experience and really the gravitas behind it to make recommendations that the police department will take seriously and that the community can really get behind. So that's it in a nutshell.
thank you. Our last question, I will, Yvonne.
Hi, Andrea. So I have 3 real quick questions.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So the notice for the November 30th meeting, if we were part of San Diegans for Justice, will we get something through them about that?
Yeah, we're definitely going to send that out to all our members. It's just that we,
You froze.
Andrea's video is frozen, yeah.
Oh, no.
So Nicole, I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was like trying to go like at the very last moment at the time he said it.
Okay. But we have to stay on somewhat track for time.
Can Andrea hear us?
Can you hear us, Andrea? Okay. Let's hold. Andrea, can you hear us at all? Okay, let's go ahead and Genevieve, you're here, right? Where's Genevieve? Genevieve, are you ready to go, dear?
I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yes, we can.
Okay.
Can we see your lovely face, your video?
I pressed the button that you all could start the video. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. 1 second, please.
Let me introduce you. Genevieve is a club member, and she's going to discuss the San Diego City Council's unanimous vote to approve an ordinance to govern all the surveillance technologies in the city. And that was an action that was rooted in pushback after the city had quietly installed cameras on 3,000 smart streetlights. So the rest of it is all yours, Lydia.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you all for having me here tonight. I will try to be brief. We were in a situation where our city council and public officials completely failed us as a community, where there was no due diligence as it relates to a contract that deployed 3,200 of these so-called smart streetlights all over San Diego. And it's not just the city of San Diego. I want to make sure that we're very clear on that. They're trying to spread all throughout the county, and we're seeing Lemon Grove now reach some sort of arrangement where they're going to have these so-called smart streetlights. Now, what ended up happening was council, city attorney didn't do any real reading of the contracts or know the real ramifications of the smart streetlights. They were told that these smart streetlights would be a part of an environmental project, that it would help us with entrepreneurial goals, and we would be able to track parking, and it would do all kinds of great things for climate through the sensor data. And none of that was actually correct. So we ended up just sinking a bunch of money at the tune of at least $30 million. That was the amount on the face of the contract that the city actually entered into with then GE. It is now, it has been sold to Ubiquia. We had a lot of concerns around privacy rights, civil rights, all of those things that were never taken into account at the time of the signing of the contract with GE. We were sold a dream. We sunk a lot of money, and we were being spied on. And so a group of community members, about 30 organizations that are all community-based, came together, formed the Trust SD Coalition, which stands for Transparent and Responsible Use of Surveillance Technology San Diego. And on Constitution Day last year, so that will be September 2019, we held our very first press conference. Today, just to fast forward a little bit, we have now cleared all of the major hurdles through City Council, where we were faced with a lot of opposition from the mayor and his staff and city departments, as well as the San Diego Police Department. We faced battles during the budget season where they were trying to just couch these cameras that were recording us in our day-to-day lives in the police department. So that would mean that they would be operating exclusively for the benefit of the police at the expense of taxpayers. So the coalition was very vocal at the city council budget hearings and meetings. Fortunate for us, we had a champion in Councilmember Montgomery Steppe, who from the very start, when the coalition first formed, wrote a memo where she had other city council members sign on to, saying that what we were asking for, which is accountability, transparency, and oversight as to our surveillance technology in San Diego, that she agreed, and that these other council members who signed on also agreed that we needed transparency, accountability, and oversight. So last week, the two ordinances that Trust SD Coalition wrote and put forward through Councilmember Montgomery Steppe passed unanimously, and we are headed to meet and confer. I believe that there may be questions. I'm happy to take the questions, but it was a huge victory, not just for the coalition, but also for the community at large with having ordinances on the books. And so we are moving forward with finally having public oversight. There were two ordinances that were written. One was the overarching surveillance ordinance that implements rules and policies as to the acquisition, the use, the purchase, the deployment of surveillance technology that the city wishes to use or purchase or acquire or deploy. And then the second ordinance is the ordinance that establishes, much like Measure B, a commission, which we actually now have to call a board, of community members who would oversee those requests from city departments, and namely the police department, before they actually acquire surveillance technology.
Do we have any question? Was there any specific person that was critical in bringing that to light?
Absolutely. From the start, when the coalition formed itself, Councilmember Montgomery Steppe, she stood up and she was the very first person to say that she not only supported what we did, but that she would push for everything down at the city to make sure that what we were asking for, which were ordinances, which were to put the laws on the books, that she would be a person who would push for those things. And not only did she push for those things, she really was the champion. These things would not have gone forward without the help of Councilmember Montgomery Steppe. So I mentioned the fact that she wrote a memo. She was very instrumental in getting her colleagues to support that. She showed a lot of courage. I'll be remiss if I didn't say that obviously Measure B would not have happened without her. She's just been a wonderful champion. And so, as she has always been, she's shown herself to be for the community once again, with asking for this oversight and transparency as it relates to surveillance technology, taking on the Police Officers Association. She's going to be doing that again in the meet and confer process. But we know that our ordinances are in capable hands with Councilmember Montgomery Steppe.
Michelle Krug, you have a question?
Yeah, I actually was kind of going, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Hi, Genevieve. I was going to go down that same road that Susan just went down, and when you're bringing up Councilwoman Montgomery, it seems to me that from about Proposition B, I mean Measure B, same situation. Can you talk to what you see as a kind of the combination of these ordinances and the vision? Because it seems to me that these are just pieces of a way of, in practical ways of trying to change the institutional racism. Could you speak to that given your new organization?
Absolutely. So my new organization is Community Advocates for Just and Moral Governance. We go by MOGO, the last two words, moral governance, because our name is so long, you'll never remember it. But MOGO was co-founded by both me and Andrea St. Julian, who you just heard from. And our entire goal is to achieve racial and social justice. We're one of two impact litigation nonprofits. The other is the ACLU in this region. And what we do is we initiate lawsuits in order to hold government accountable to all people, but especially those who have been marginalized. And the work as it relates to Councilmember Montgomery Steppe is the work that has to be done. We recognize that all of our systems, whether we're talking about the foster care system or the healthcare system, our financial systems, our education system, quite frankly, obviously, our criminal justice system, they're all rooted in white supremacy and racism. That's just the truth about our American systems. And we've seen over and over again in the city of San Diego through independent studies from the SDSU that was commissioned by the city of San Diego, or through the Campaign Zero studies, that we keep having this evidence of racial profiling, and not just by San Diego Police Department, but also by the San Diego County Sheriffs. And what I've seen through the work and the vision of Councilmember Montgomery Steppe is that she's always had this as a part of her platform. She talked about it before she was elected. She talked about it when she was sworn in, and she's done everything she said she was going to do as a council member. I remember her as it relates to Measure B, when she was sworn in just, under 2 years ago, looking at the chief of police who was in the audience and said, we're coming for subpoena power. And that's what Measure B is. Measure B gave us an independent attorney so that we don't share the same attorney that advises the police department when we're the body that is supposed to look into police misconduct. It also gives community members investigation powers and subpoena powers. And it's just been that type of political courage that I've seen with Councilmember Montgomery Steppe, that she's not afraid of the repercussions. She's just going to do something because it's right. And so it was the same thing with the surveillance technology. We had sank so much money, we had violated so many civil liberties, and we had just gone into a quagmire with the city. And it seemed as if we were just heading into quagmires and nobody asking the real questions. And we see that she's been the person leading at the dais where she's withholding money from the police department until they can actually explain what they're doing with the money. And we just haven't seen that type of bold courage, political acumen, and those things that she's displayed. She's just a real leader. And I know for a fact we would not have had Measure B without her, and we would not have had these surveillance ordinances go this far without her.
Genevieve, we are, no one, please no one leave, because we want to take a vote on this, on the next thing on our, you've set us up perfectly. The next thing on our agenda is the executive board voted unanimously to support Monica Montgomery Steppe for San Diego City Council President. And I would entertain a motion from a club member. Oh, excuse me, that's my phone. From a club member, that the members of this club stand behind and support that position.
So moved.
No, you have to make the motion. You have to make the motion.
Okay. I move that the Democratic Women's Club, San Diego Democratic Women's Club, support Monica Montgomery Steppe for City Council President.
Second on that
I
endorsement.
second the motion.
All right, who made the motion?
Kate Bishop.
All right,
Kate Bishop.
And who
And
seconded?
Michelle seconds.
Okay, all right. So the maker of the motion was Kate. Kate, do you want to talk to the motion?
Yes, it's literally everything that Genevieve said, and everything else that she has done during her tenure has been amazing and supportive of the people. She is the best person for the job. She is the most qualified for the job, and we should support her in this 100%.
So is there anyone who wants to speak against this? I don't hear any opposition. So I'm going to just go into a vote. Doug, does that sound okay? Our resident. Okay, so all those in favor, please go into your participant button and vote yes. We'll take the yes first, please. And we were afraid, I was afraid we were going to lose quorum, Genevieve, because it gets later, people have to go. Okay, so we have 29 for and one against. Okay, Mary is okay. No, let's see. It's not. We have 30 to 1, and the measure passes. Yes. So thank you. We can now. I can now give a logo to the organization. For those of you who also want to sign on as individual signers to support, it's Monica. I'm going to type it Monica for Pres.org.
And you will be able to sign on as an individual. So as many members of this club as possible, we please appreciate your signing on. Genevieve, I'm sorry to have interrupted you.
Well, can I say something real quick? They also, everybody needs to call either their newly elected council member or their existing council member and encourage them to vote for Monica on December 10th, right after they're sworn in.
Especially if your city council people are Raul Campillo and Miney. Steve Whitburn would be good too.
Marty's my councilwoman, but what is her official contact information since she still hasn't taken office?
You need to look it up on the campaign.
Yeah, through the campaign. Go ahead, Ehab, and do it through the campaign. So thank you, Genevieve. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
Susan, sorry to interrupt before you go. There was some question. I think Alina had a question for Genevieve.
Okay. Who had a question?
Alina.
Alina,
yeah, my question is super short. You mentioned that these smart street lights are going to be installed in other communities. So I was wondering if you could probably give us a direction of how to organize those communities so they're better prepared than the way we were prepared when we received that sort of installation.
So yes, unfortunately, the city of San Diego is not the only city where we were being targeted for these cameras and for taxpayer money being used for projects that just simply don't work or yield any benefit. I'll just put it very bluntly. We know that there is an effort in a lot of the northern county cities where, you know, we should be very concerned about Carlsbad. I won't get into the whys, but I can tell you that Lemon Grove is already doing a pilot program, and it is through a partnership with the sheriff's department, and they're encasing it in the enhancement of safety and the reduction of victimization in the city of Lemon Grove. And so we have cameras that were installed according to Mayor Vasquez. The cameras will not be monitored 24 hours a day, and that the video footage would not be recorded. But Alina, I think you know this just as much as I do, that that's what we were told in the city of San Diego. And, you know, so they rejected the language that the coalition put forth regarding spying. And they said, well, we're not spying because we are not monitoring the feed 24 hours a day. But the fact is, the video footage is uploaded and it can be accessed for however long the nodes are set for. And so we have to be very vigilant around the cities that would be embracing this technology. I was hopeful that a lot of the cities would learn from the city of San Diego after we had been taken for $30 million, and apparently not. So one, we have to be vigilant. Two, the Trust SD Coalition is here to help other cities get together and figure this out. We do have some members that are in the North County, but we're very big on doing forums in the community to educate community members. We would love to set those up around the county and also give a blueprint on how to do this. We were kind of waiting until we were successful in the war and not just the battles that we had won before we started to say, this is how you do it successfully. But I believe that we're there now. And so we are a community resource. And so we're on Twitter. I believe it's SD Trust on Twitter. And we also have a website. I think it's sandiegotrust.org. But please contact us so that we can help out in the various cities across the county.
Thank you. And I think that Ruth Rollins has a question, and this will be our last question.
Mine is on a different topic. It's the one that I asked before when Doug Chase was on a telephone call. He wished to comment on the possibility of Tony Atkins going
Oh,
to
that, okay, so that, okay, so we'll ask him in a minute. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
And then
Okay.
Susan, yeah, if Genevieve can stay a minute longer, Andrea St. John, when she had to drop off because of her laptop, some people had some questions as well, I think, for Andrea.
Okay.
And one thing I didn't get a chance to say was Monica has been magnificent with respect to Measure B. And so the vote's over now, but you all made an excellent choice in us.
Yeah, it was, we knew with the board, when it was unanimous with the board, we figured that the club, we were hoping the club would be behind us. So now we get to put our logo on the site, and I'm really happy about that. Ladies, thank you so much, both of you. We're really, you're two of our absolute stars, guiding stars. We look to you for inspiration. Yes, Rose.
Just a quick one, Genevieve. Would you please say the name of it again? I've got Mogo, but I don't have the whole name.
It's in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh, it is in the chat.
Yeah, they put it in the chat, and Andrea also put the website.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody knows how to save the chat, right? So down at in the chat, you'll see file, and then you'll see 3 little dots. If you click on 3 little dots, it says save chat. Okay, and you can download it, and it'll be downloaded on your computer.
Yeah. And then I think Nicole had a question for Andrea.
Unmuting. I just want to ensure that there will be added a process to make sure the criminal prosecution will be referred to either when it's misdemeanor, the city attorney's office, or the DA's office when it's a felony, or just to make sure that that is, very thought about and robust, because I think that people really underestimate the fact that police officers and sheriff, they are prosecuted, and when we are notified, like, that is extremely helpful at the soonest point. So I'd like that communication gap to be shortened.
Yeah, and you raised 2 important issues. One is the communication gap, which we have gotten a lot about because people want to know more about what's really going on. So that's definitely an issue. And then also already in the charter amendment, it says that the commission has the ability to refer cases to whatever federal agency. But it's good to know that you would like to make sure that that's even fortified in the ordinance.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ladies. We really appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to move on to our next. Dr. Miller, Becca Miller, would you like to take 5 minutes now and do your COVID rant and rave? Is this a good time? Or should we? Okay. Okay. First of all, Becca is our VP, but she's also an epidemiologist at UCSD. So I'm going to turn it over to her. You've got 5 minutes.
Okay, I will be quick. So I think the most important thing people should know right now is obviously numbers are climbing all over the whole country. We've seen this a lot. We've seen that in South Dakota, they're running out of hospital rooms and staff. We've seen that El Paso is really bad. The Midwest is really bad, but folks need to know that San Diego is climbing exponentially too. Of course, we just got put back in the purple tier this week, but genuinely, when I look at the numbers and when colleagues look at the numbers, we feel afraid, really, because what's happening is even though restaurants and gyms have closed, we're all about to, yep, that's the one. We're all about to go into a holiday season where we're not going into restaurants and cafes and gyms. We're going indoors to spend time with our families and the people we care about. And it's indoors, spending time with people without masks on, that really is one of the most dangerous activities. So I would ask all of you to think very carefully about your holiday activities. And I don't say that because I hate freedom and turkey and apple pie. I say that because when we think about why we spend time with people, We spend time with them because we love them. And this might be the year to think about the fact that maybe one of the ways we can show people how much we love them is by doing it at a distance. If you do plan to spend time with family or people from another household, please be very, very conservative. That means get tested, but know that any test that you get is really only telling you about 5 days ago. It takes about 5 days for the test to be as accurate as possible. Isolate as much as you can, and, you know, really ask your friends and family to do the same. And know that any bubble is really only as strong as, you know, Uncle Jimmy's will to also go out and get tested and isolate. So please be really careful in the coming weeks, because not only is Thanksgiving potentially really risky, but the numbers that we set for Thanksgiving are going to have a big impact on what happens over the subsequent holidays, over Hanukkah and Christmas and New Year's. And I know I'm really just extremely worried about all of you and about all the people I care about for the next couple of months. But, you know, this sucks, but a vaccine is coming. It is. There's at least 2 that look to be effective. There's several in phase 3 trials. So this is really the darkest time before things will start getting better. So please, please make sure that you make it to the part where things get better and all the people you care about do too. That's what I have to say about that.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you. We'll all be good. I miss my family so much.
I tell you, Esther asks every day when we can go and see my parents. She loves her grandparents, and we're doing Zoom Thanksgiving, which is terrible, but I love my parents too. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We always look forward to Becca's talks. We're going to move and turn this over now to Rosamond. Rosamond has got 2 hats on right now. The first hat is going to be as treasurer. She's going to give a treasurer's report. And then she's going to go right into, she stepped up to be our nominating chair for our January election. So Rosamond, it's now yours.
Okay, well, we have our bank balance is quite, that was a knee. Our bank balance is quite low. We have $2,750.64. And so, can I share, John?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Okay, let me go back. Let me share what we did. Boy, that sound is terrible. What we did, the only expenditure we had was $499 to the site. And that is for, let me see if I can control this feedback. Are you getting that feedback also?
It just sounds very loud, Rosamond.
Okay, let me turn it down. Okay, here we go. The only expenditure we had was for Fair Fight, which is the organization that's going to help those 2 senators in Georgia get reelected. So I would encourage everyone to either donate, or they can donate, or they can do postcards, or they can do phone banking. But they need them. But they need it all. Here's our expenditures. Let's see. Let me see. Let's share this with you guys. This is what we've done so far this year: $7,168 that we have donated to organizations and to candidates running, and so we've done quite well. Our bank balance is low, but as we get more members, we'll have more money coming in. Let me go ahead and do this real quick, and I'll share this one with you too. This is Fair Fight. And this, I think that we should all get involved in this. And there is, as you can see, you can get involved, contacts, donate. And if you can't do postcards and you can't do phone making, donate, because they do need money. The Republicans have now poured in millions of dollars to this election. So I think it's important. It'll help us win. If we can get a majority in the Senate, then we'll have the House, the Senate, and the White House. Now going on to the nominating committee, Yvonne Elkins has agreed to help me redo the bylaws. Our bylaws need an updating. They need a little bit of a facelift, but if anybody else would like to participate in that, I think it would be really helpful because we have elections coming up in January. And with a new bylaws, we'll be able to specify what each e-board member's responsibility will be. And so I think it'll make it easier. As these elections coming up in January, there are several positions that may be open, several positions that somebody would agree to take over, maybe, hopefully. But anyway, what I need is somebody to help us with the bylaws. I know Ruth Rowlands had helped initially with the bylaws. I would love to see her help us out. And Yvonne would help us. And John, if you would, once we did our bylaws, if you would look them over to see if they comply with everything that needs to be done. I think that it would be great if we could get it done by December because our election is going to be January 20th for new e-board members. And so if anybody, I'm going to put my...
we've got some volunteers.
We've got Jen.
Volunteers?
Jen
Yeah, Jen.
Finch
Right.
and Nicole Crosby.
Okay, what I'm going to do is in the chat, I'm going to put my number and my phone number and my email address, and please contact me. I think that it's important. We have a month before. I don't know what we're going to do for our December meeting. I don't think we've even discussed it. But maybe if we had our bylaws done by then, it would be really great. Are we going to have a meeting in December?
Yeah, I thought we would, I put it on the bottom of the agenda, and I thought we would have a party. This is someone's suggestion, and I thought it would be a great idea, a party with no other program that to invite all the female candidates, successful or not, who ran, and for them to come celebrate with us and talk about their experiences as candidates, because we're so grateful to all of them, win or not, for stepping up.
I think that would be marvelous. That would be really great. So let me put that in the chat. So we do need help with redoing our bylaws. It'll help us be up to date, give us a little bit of facelift. It'll be great. And I think that is all for me. Thank you. I'm going to put that information in the chat.
So which positions are going to be vacant?
Well, as I understand, Miss Susan has decided not to run. Is that correct?
Susan. 100%. I'm stepping down. I've done this now for 4 years, and I was president of Point Loma for 4 years, and I think I've done my service. So it's time for other people to step up. Have another.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do without you, but I would hope that you would stay on as advisory in some capacity to help.
I believe you.
Yeah, Susan, it's going to be a loss. I mean, there are members that would like to participate, but yeah, I understand that. And so I think that at this point, the other thing that we'll do is that you put down sort of the duties and responsibilities of a president.
I did. They were up in the, John, do you want to share those? We did a table about what they are, and they'd be overwhelming to anybody. But for anybody who does step up to any position, know that the thing that you do from the day you take on a position is you start recruiting for your replacement. That's the most important, one of the most important things that you can do.
Well, Susan, that you must have been recruiting 3 years ago, wasn't it? How long have you been president?
I'm telling you guys I wasn't going to do this. I've been looking around forever. And now we have quite a bench. We have a wonderful, wonderful bench to choose from. So I'm really delighted with that. It's time.
Well, that would be great. I think that this would be an opportunity for us to say thank you very much, Susan, for all you've done and what you will continue to do. And it's been amazing. You asked, when I stepped in to be treasurer, I had no idea what it was. I thought I'd just do balance the bank statement once a month. Oh no, it's nothing like that. It is nothing like that. But it's a good learning experience, and I've learned a lot. So thank you, Susan, for everything you've done and will continue to do.
We have the best treasurer of any club, and that's hands down undeniable. Okay.
Well, it was a learning experience. There were times when I wanted to say, did I really sign up for this?
So guys, okay, so we were just a little club and now we're a pack. So we have, we're a state pack, we're a state pack. So we have so much room to grow. And we've got scaffolding in place for this club to go. We've got the talent, we've got the people, and I want to see somebody with a little bit more energy than I do right now to keep it going and take it somewhere where it needs to go. All right, there are some people I think that are interested in talking to us about whether or not they're interested and they wanted to come before you now. Am I understanding that correctly? There were two people. One is Dr. Richmond. Dr. Richmond, do you want to throw your hat in the ring?
Do you want to know what the responsibilities and the duties are first and look them over?
Yeah, because I've read it. Based on the calculations, it's definitely doable, and I definitely have a love for this club, and it's my hope that the supporting players will stay in, because if I did take on this role, I don't have any illusions that it would be about me or something that I could do by myself.
Fantastic. We right now we have about 160 members. We're down a little bit from what we were in the past, but that's just because we can no longer meet in person. So maybe it's time to build up our membership.
Okay.
Was there somebody else who wanted to let us know that they were interested? I think there was one other person. Rebecca. I know Rebecca was, Dr. Fielding Miller is interested. And anyway, if you're interested, you talk to, oh, there. Okay. All right.
Interested? Come and talk to me.
All right, Becca, are you interested? Say you are.
I think so, as long as, just like Dr. Richmond says, as long as we make sure that we still have Susan around to tap into, and goodness, Rosamund, please never leave. But yeah, it's a conversation worth having.
It's about 60 hours a month, 6 hours a month at least, minimum. So, and I've got it in a spreadsheet. John put it in a spreadsheet for me, and it's somewhere on the top of the chat. So, okie doke, we got some talent here. You can't go wrong. All right, with that, I think oh gosh, we are really ahead. Any new business? Does anyone have any new business they want to bring before us? Raise your hand. This is not announcements, this is new business. So I think I saw a hand as Shane.
Hey there. So I wasn't sure if I could still make a motion.
It's new business.
New business though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was going to be an announcement, but I'm like, hey, if the club can take a position on that, that would be great. So currently the motion is to have the club take a support position for the ask we are currently organizing for the City Council and the County Board of Supervisors, that they fill our COVID hotel rooms to a 90% occupancy rate with homeless families and people with disabilities by December 15th. That's our current ask, and I can tell you more about it when I speak to it, but I do need a second.
Okay, so I need to have some discussion. This is a position, correct? And a position is new business. Oh, Doug, and does not have to be.
Need a second, and there are hands raised.
Okay.
I will be willing to second that if that's needed.
Okay, so we have a second. Doug?
What's your question?
My question to you, as an experienced parliamentarian, is that what Shane is asking us to do is new business. It is a position, having the club take a position on something. It's not an endorsement.
That's fine. That's in order. There's no problem with that.
There's no problem with taking that up right now. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. All right.
Just to
Shane.
clarify, because I was distracted earlier, did we not endorse or take a position on Monica for president?
We noticed that two weeks ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so speaking to the motion, and I have been a little distracted because I'm trying to get the Facebook post up. Basically, this has been an ongoing issue. You've probably heard me speak about it over the course of the last 6 months. The county received money specifically to pay for hotel rooms for at-risk, high-risk homeless people. We have been basically sitting at a 90% vacancy rate with these hotel rooms. No other county is doing this. The Democratic Central Committee, we passed a resolution on this issue saying we supported people putting people into the hotel rooms. Tasha Williamson, Loxie Gant, and I are organizing. We're upping it a notch. So we're reaching out to all of the sitting and newly elected city council members and county board of supervisors, asking them specifically to commit to doing everything in their power to reaching a 90% occupancy rate by December 15th by putting our homeless families and people with disabilities into those hotel rooms. And the county has taken the money for it. They're just not doing it. And we are holding a press conference on Friday to help educate people, because it's really astounding when people like listen to it a little bit more. They're like, oh, but there must be something missing. It's like, no, literally, they're just not doing it. And it's unique to our county. The city is currently being sued because of this, and people don't know about the lawsuit, and the lawsuit has a lot of really good information in it. So they'll be there, I believe, to just give facts. Like, we just want people to know what's actually happening in our city and our county when it comes to homelessness and COVID money. And then after that, on Friday, we're going to let everyone know who the electeds are who have agreed to commit to this and who is not committing to this. And then starting on Saturday, we will be doing protests outside people's homes. So it's nice that you have a nice, safe place to sleep at night. There's 1,000 empty hotel rooms we could put people in. It's an arbitrary thing San Diego's doing. A bunch of electeds are pointing at each other like this. Enough is enough. We need to spend the money. So we will start doing protests from 3 to 5 p.m. We currently have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're blocking off 5 days and asking people to sign up for whichever days that is best for them. And then we will schedule more as needed. I'm not saying anything, we already are reaching out to people, but more information will be coming later this week. Okay. So I am gonna get a Facebook post up. I'm almost done with it. I need to click I'm tagging people right now, and hopefully it won't delete on me like it does sometimes.
Shane.
So you can check that out later after the meeting. And so I'm asking that we take a support using our COVID hotel money that was specifically given to our county to house homeless people, and spending it to do exactly what it was given to us to do.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. So Shane, for Kathy's for the minutes, for the sake of the minutes, could you please restate your motion?
So that you know what, I'm gonna just post this before I lose my post. I'm gonna read it off my screen. My apologies. I thought I had to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, so Shane, I put in the chat, I can read it back to you, what was stated earlier. The motion is to have the club take a support position to ask the City Council and the County Board of Supervisors to provide COVID hotel rooms to a 90% occupancy rate with homeless families and people with disabilities by December 5th, 2020.
That's it. And none of this, oh, there were 200 rooms for people with high risk, but now we don't know. There's COVID money for hotel rooms. This arbitrary number of a couple hundred was garbage our county came up with. It's all for the same purpose. So yes, that's exactly it, John. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody want to speak against this? Oh, there's a question. Where did the money come from?
From the state. This is part of our county's reopening plan. And that's the thing. The resolution that's currently posted on the Central Committee, our Democratic Party's website, we have a resolution on this, and it has a full page of facts, I believe, before the resolution. And it's literally, our county came up with our reopening plan. As part of that, it said we will put high risk health population homeless people into hotel rooms because congregate shelters are not appropriate for them. And yes, we will take that money and spend it that way. And so then the state gave us that money and we just didn't do it. It's like, it's insane and it's infuriating. And this is why a lot of people are super angry.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, Michelle, you have your hand up. You want to ask a question? Michelle Krug. Michelle.
It's not actually a question to Shane. It was when I put my hand up when you asked if people had announcements.
Oh, it's not yet. Not yet. This is new business. This is not announcements.
Well, okay. It would go under the business.
Dr. Richmond?
I'm not hearing a lot of conversation or anyone in opposition. I'm wondering if it's too soon to just call the question.
No. Do I hear anyone opposed to that?
Well, I wanted to ask a question, so I've been waiting.
Okay, who is that?
Rado Rodriguez.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So, Shane, I appreciate the work that you're doing and other people are doing, but there's a tendency of forgetting the grassroots organizers behind this. So was Tasha behind it? So my understanding, Tasha has been working on this for a long, long time before other people jumped in and started helping. So I want to make sure that we credit people that are doing the work in the community before we jump in and start helping.
So as I started the conversation, I said, I'm working with Tasha and Loxie on this. This is something I've been working on them with. We have had our planning sessions. Yes, I have permission to be here, Gretel, and talk about it. So yeah, that's absolutely it. We can't all do everything by ourselves. And so yes, Tasha and Loxie are doing this. I'm helping.
All right, thanks, Gretel. Is there any other discussion, because we're losing people and people are leaving and we need to keep quorum.
Can I just ask a very quick question, Susan?
Yes, go ahead.
As it pertains to the county, oftentimes transitional age youth are left out because they focus on vulnerable populations, which a lot of times includes elderly and military. But there's a lot of people between the age of 16 to 24 who need services. So I don't know if transitional age youth was mentioned at all, but I could talk to you offline about it if needed.
Okay, thank you, Kim. I think that'd be great. Okay, so I'm going to call somebody called the question, so I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor, go to the participants tab and please vote either yes or no. Before we lose quorum. Okay, I'm okay on quorum. Okay. Any opposed? Anybody wants to vote no? Okay. Going for voting. Okay, it's unanimous. You're welcome. You're now muted, Shane. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to call, if there's no more new business, are there any announcements? And I know that someone wanted to make an announcement. Who is it? Announcement time, guys. Announcements?
Michelle, I said it could be new business or announcement.
Okay.
I just want to, so the next thing that's going to be coming up, affecting the entire county, is going to be redistricting. And I just wanted to get that on people's radar because there are meetings that are already going on for the Assembly, Senate, and Congress. I haven't found out yet exactly where they're being held, but I'm sure they're being done by Zoom. And then the local ones are going to be starting in January. So just get it on your radar that every single district, every city council that has sub-districts, every city school district, all of those are going to be redistricted. So just take a look at them and realize how that's going to affect us and the Assembly, Senate, and Congress. Thanks.
All right, thank you. And then Rob, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Susan, real quick, this Saturday, we're doing a food distribution with turkeys and everything at Palomar College. It's a drive-through food distribution, no questions asked. One set will be one set of food, turkey and food per family. If you want to volunteer, Susan, I'll email you the flyers. Because there's an English and Spanish flyer to give out. Right now we're up to 500 turkeys and food. So it's getting tougher, but people can drive through and get food. And if you want to volunteer, just shoot me an email. I'll put my info in the chat. And so it's a really good thing. And we'll be doing toy collection for the December event. So I'll send you all that information in an email.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And Ellen?
Yes, I just wanted to thank the Democratic Women's Club on behalf of BAPAC and Generation Justice for the contribution you made to the youth voter Get Out to Vote drive. First time ever in the history of Southeast San Diego. It was very well attended. Your contribution allowed us to create a base, planted a seed that we're going to grow every year, where we can see our vision is to see thousands of young people attending the Get Out to Vote drive on November 3rd. We probably had about 200 young people. We gave away, there was a taco truck. There was also a smoothie truck that came up. So we were able to donate to the truck and they were giving the food away for free. But we see that as a vision for Southeast San Diego. Every Get Out to Vote and on the day of election, where we'll have thousands of kids. There was a ban there for the kids to register to vote, and some even voted. I really thank you, Democratic Women's Club, for that contribution. That really made that a reality for us. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you. We appreciate all you do. Ellen is the chair of San Diego BAPAC. Let's see. Now, is there any other announcements? I just want to make one thing. I just want to let you know our next meeting, we decided, somebody suggested this and I really hadn't had a chance to talk to the board, but I didn't think that they would mind too much. Our next meeting is Monday, December the 21st, and it's going to be a Zoom party. I'm going to think of doing some things that are maybe a little fun for us. Like the main room might have music. And we'll do breakout rooms where people can have time to talk to each other. And we're hoping that candidates will come and they'll talk about their experiences running, whether they were successful or not. It doesn't matter. But to talk about what it is like to run, so that we can get our members educated and perhaps enthused and maybe interested, get women interested in running. All right, with that, I do, okay, thank you. Kate Bishop. Kate.
Hello. I just want to take a moment. Well, first of all, I want to mention that Dr. Luana Richmond actually wrote an article for the San Diego Union Tribune on that very topic. If Luana has a link to that, that would be kind of awesome to show people the article that she wrote about running for office. But I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you again so much for the donation from the club. It meant the world to me to get your support. And I won my election. I'm very pleased to say that I am the newest trustee on the Chula Vista Elementary School Board. And I got in a race with 3 candidates, I got 51% of the vote. So
Wow.
like
You go, Kate. You go.
so much. I'm really touched by everyone's support over the years, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I'm gonna stay with the club, and you'll see plenty of me. I just wanted to say thank you one more time, and I'm very thrilled to have been successful in my run. Thank you.
Kate has actually been our event chair. She's arranged an event at Moxie and some other fun events that we've had. We haven't been able to do that in a while, and that's one of the things that we kind of miss. All right. Yeah. Ruth, you have a question? For Doug Case, that's right. Is Doug still here? So Ruth, are you still here? Doug?
Yes, I'm still here. And Doug probably heard my question the last time.
No, I didn't, so I'm sorry.
Just wanting to know where Tony Atkins stands in the chance of going to the U.S. Senate.
Well, that's a good question. It's up to the governor to decide that. There is about a dozen different candidates who are frequently mentioned, and the pro tem is among them. There's a lot of different factors, and it's a decision the governor is going to make. I'm sure that the pro tem would be honored to fulfill that role, but we'll see what the governor does.
And John just put something in the chat. It's an article from the Voice of San Diego. So you can read that later, everyone. And everyone now knows how to save their chat. So save the chat. And with that, is there, let me see, I'm looking for hands raised. Give it one last look. And with that, John, you want to dance us out of here with, let's see. Anybody have a request? What about the tried and true one? I Am Woman, Mr. Lachlan, who's actually right behind me. So that's why we're in the same room.
I was going to suggest Happy Days Are Here Again.
Not yet. So I'm gonna actually just make it really funny for you guys so you can actually see this. There, and there's John behind me. So you can actually see what you're really looking at. A total mess. Okay, back to this. So that was a moment of truth. John, we want to dance. We want to have some dance. It's been fun. So, well, okay. What do you guys want for dancing? You want, okay, let's see. What about the one that we had in the very beginning? What was that one?
What about We Are Family? We Are Family. Does he have that one?
Yeah, do you have that one, John? Of course, he says. You can't hear it, but of course. He's everything. He's the only smart man I know who knows so much about music of all different kinds. Okay. All right, John. Let's dance. It's been fun, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for coming. Everybody have a good month and stay safe, stay well. If already had one COVID, you don't want any more. Let me see if I can spotlight some of you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, Luana.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family.
The most fun.
Get up, everybody, and sing.
Here's Ellen.
Can see we're together as we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather.
Around
the
us they
music, that's the
say,
problem.
can they be that close?
I'm singing
Just
along
let me
to the
state
matchup.
for the record. We're giving love in a family dose. We are family.
Karaoke.
We've done Zoom karaoke and it's great wreck. Train wreck.
Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing.
Living life is fun and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delight.
Okay, ladies. We're gonna close this down. Bye, everybody. Bye. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Here's where we